This car accident resulted in the person who was badly injured getting no money. And the injured person was even represented by a good lawyer, and it wasn't the lawyer's fault. The lawyer said this should have been a big case. I agree with him since he said that his client was seriously injured. The number one factor that usually makes a case large in terms of settlement value is if you have serious injuries. But the lawyer said that this isn't a big case because the driver wasn't carrying insurance. I assume he means either the driver of this car or the driver of another vehicle, if another vehicle was involved. I don't know if the driver was at fault, but I assume that they were because the lawyer says that this should have been a very big case. To have a good case, you need someone else to be at fault. That's one of the key ingredients that may result in a large payout. Now, the person who was injured still could have had a sizable case, but to do so, she would have needed to have a car insurance coverage that's optional. It's not required. This car insurance coverage covers you if a driver other than you is at fault for causing your crash and your injuries. It pays for your pain and suffering, lost wages, and medical bills up to your limits of coverage. It's called uninsured motorist insurance coverage, or coverage. Of course, you still need to prove the value of your case. coverage may even cover you if you weren't in your car at the time of the crash. But the lawyer in this case said his client wasn't carrying underinsured motorist coverage. He then says that there's not money to get. He's probably right. He also says that for every big settlement that you read about, there are many cases like this where people get seriously hurt or killed and get nothing. And I agree with him 100%, unfortunately. I've had countless cases where I haven't been able to get my client a penny because there's no money to go after. Now, some people reacted to this lawyer's post and said,
"Why can't you sue the driver?"
The reality is that most people that don't carry insurance won't be able to pay you even if you win at trial, meaning they don't have the money to pay. And even if you win at trial, you might not be able to take their house and certain assets. In a different recent case, Ellie was a passenger in a car in Tampa, Florida. She was sleeping in the backseat of the car on a road trip. The driver of the car that she was in sped up to 95 miles per hour on a street where the speed limit was just 50 miles per hour. At the same time, a man driving a van changed a couple of lanes in front of her. They crashed.
I felt like I was floating, and when I opened my eyes, I was this close to my friend's face in the back seat, and I didn't quite understand why I was so close to her face until I put two and two together and I realized the car is spinning right now.
She broke her leg. At the hospital, doctors put a rod and screws through her leg. The car that Ellie was in only had $25,000 in insurance. The van had a big insurance policy. However, when I valued Ellie's case, I put the majority of fault on the driver of the car that Ellie was a passenger in. This is because he was driving crazy fast. After a battle, I was able to get the van's insurance company to offer $100,000 and we settled for that amount. However, the driver of Ellie's car was severely underinsured. Ellie would have likely gotten a massive amount more than the $125,000 settlement I got her if just one thing had been different. She just needed the driver of the car that she was in to have more than $25,000 in bodily injury liability insurance. But not having insurance isn't the only thing that can ruin a car accident case. There are several huge mistakes that you need to avoid or it may cost you thousands of dollars. To learn what these common mistakes are, watch the video here or click the link in the description below. And if you're seriously injured in an accident in Florida and you think that someone else may be at fault, click the link in the description below to see if I could be the lawyer for you.